Here we go. Liam Neeson returning to the role that established him as a true badass. This is going to be awesome. Right? Hello and welcome to my review of Taken 2, starring Liam Neeson, Maggie Grace, and Famke Janssen. Taken 2 takes place about a year or so after the events of the first film, and we rejoin Brian Mills, played by Liam Neeson, who's establishing a better relationship with his family, and decides to take a trip to Istanbul to do another bodyguarding job. His family surprises them there, but little do they know that the family of the people that Liam Neeson killed in the last movie to get his daughter back are out for revenge, and Liam Neeson and Famke Janssen get kidnapped, and this whole Taken Done saga gets restarted again. Now, like many of you, I absolutely loved the first Taken. I thought it was a fantastic action film that cemented Liam Neeson as a true badass. So when I first heard they were making a sequel and the concept they were going with, I actually was on board. Sure, it's a bit of a repeat, but also it's kind of a nice throwback to the original film. They're not just coming up with some random concept to shoehorn it in, they're actually kind of tying it in, and I like that. But then I heard the director was going to be Olivier Megaton, who previously directed Transporter 3 and Columbiana, and who is quite possibly one of the worst directors working today, and we'll get to that in a second. And my expectations just went downhill. And unfortunately, while Taken 2 is not terrible, it's just okay. There were a couple aspects of this movie that I enjoyed, mainly Liam Neeson's performance. Of course, he was fantastic in this film, and Brian Mills has always been one of the best examples of Neeson's ability to bring such a gravitas and presence and relatability to a performance while still exploding into incredible badassery. And in this film, he really excels. Also, I like the general story of this film, just as an outline. Just bringing the villains back from the first one is a clever touch. I like how you give Maggie Grace a little bit more of an expanded role in this film, and I think she did an okay job. I like the themes that could have been played with in the film but weren't, and also this is probably exclusively just me, but I like how the film kind of takes 20 or so minutes to kind of spend time with the characters, hang out with them, see where they're going, and see how they interact with one another, because I've missed these characters. It's a sequel to a movie that I really loved, and it was nice to kind of spend time with these people for a bit and just kind of see where they are emotionally and how they're doing. And I enjoyed the whole family dynamic in this film. It was kind of cute, especially Liam Neeson's resistance to Maggie Grace's character having a boyfriend and just being kind of a stoic, stern dad. I enjoyed that stuff for some reason. But then we get to the kidnapping plot. You may say, but wait, that's obviously the best part, right? This is a Taken movie after all. But no, this is Olivier Megaton directing. How Luc Besson didn't do these two things. Firstly, bring Pierre Morel back, who directed the original Taken, with such a visceral sense of the quickness and brutality of violence, and also not bar Olivier Megaton from ever directing an action movie ever again after his atrocious work on Transporter 3 and Columbiana is beyond me. This guy just can't film action. I don't understand where this guy comes from. There's a difference between Paul Greengrass, who uses shaky cam as an effect to kind of make action more visceral and kind of feel like you're shaking and fighting with these guys. What this guy does is he doesn't shake the camera, he cuts everywhere. There's a scene in this movie, the very first fight scene of the movie is Liam Neeson versus three other guys with clubs. And you think, oh, that's simple enough. Show one or two shots, Liam Neeson kicking the guy's ass and it'd be badass. But no. Megaton cuts every quarter of a second, so it looks like these guys are just kind of dancing and jittering around like goddamn robots. And half the time it just looks like Liam Neeson just kind of puts his hands on a guy's head and the guy just goes, oh, like he just sucked his soul out or something. It's so badly, just miserably directed. I do not understand how this guy gets work, because he just gives me a migraine. And also, once we get into this stuff, the villain played by Raid Zerbertazgia, and I know I just totally butchered that name, who's a good actor, by the way, who has a very intimidating presence, is just wasted. You could have had this great play-on-play between Liam Neeson and him, because in a way they're both fathers, who both kind of act under the same pretenses, but one is just acting upon the other in this case. It's like two opposite and equal forces acting on another. And you could have had this great dynamic, but no, the guy just kind of walks around and postures, and that's just really disappointing. And occasionally the movie will do something cool. There are a couple scenes that are entertaining, like There's a scene involving Venn diagrams. It's just so preposterous, it's funny. And there's this set piece toward the end that is pretty great. That's pretty much Liam Neeson's slasher movie where he's just going through this giant cavern, just killing everybody in his path and just like sniping people. And it's pretty cool. It's just like watching Liam Neeson kill people has always been fun. But it's just so badly directed, it's really hard to get into this movie. And it just doesn't feel as exciting or tense as the first film. It feels like everything's going to be okay throughout this entire film. Overall, Taken 2 is okay. It could have been much better than the first one. They could have explored some darker themes and really elevated it, but no, they just decided to make a mediocre sequel with a piss-poor director. It's fun in parts, and if you really want to see a sequel to Taken, you might enjoy yourself. But I really can't give this movie more than 2 stars out of 4. It's kind of fun, but you really don't need to rush out and see it. That was my review of Taken 2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'm Movie Kid Mike.